In this part of closing argument, prosecutor Slavic focused on the enterprise and said that the jury must find Diddy guilty of conspiracy to commit racketeering. She told the jury that they must unanimously find that Diddy knowingly and willfully agreed that he or another member of the conspiracy would commit 2 racketeering acts. She said there is evidence of multiple acts committed by Diddy's enterprise. In this part of the closing argument, she also covered Diddy's substance distribution to both Jane and Cassie Capricorn Clark's testimony and Kid Cudi's testimony. Let's get into this part of the closing argument in more detail. So regarding the enterprise, prosecutor said a group of people whose purpose was to serve and protect the defendant. It's his kingdom. Everyone was there to serve him, fulfilling all of his desires, including his desires. We need to show at least 2 racketeering crimes. The defendant was the head of the Combs enterprise. There was an inner circle, his chief of staff, and his bodyguards. The names changed, but the roles remain the same. You've heard about KK, Combs' right brain. She lived in 2-star. She communicated with the defendant's girlfriends, his security. You heard their names: D-Rock, Bonds, Rube, Uncle Paulie, Fahim. They were armed and ready. Remember the incident at the diner with Suge Knight? David James told you Combs had guns. In the search, law enforcement found guns, including a rifle with a serial number defaced in LA. 2 AR-15s with their serial numbers cut out in the defendant's closet. You also have the rotating cast of assistants paid for by the defendant's business. Brendan Paul said he made $100,000 a year. KK made 6 times that. When your boss asks you to buy substances, you're committing a crime. When you kidnap someone or lock his girlfriend in a hotel room after your boss stomped on her face, it's a crime. The law does not require us to know that they liked committing these crimes. You saw KK chiding the defendant to not be so reckless, but she got him cash, substances. She was a member of the enterprise. It impacted interstate commerce. Minimal is fine. Combs knowingly became a member. He was the boss. He was the through line. The racketeering acts: distribution of substances, kidnapping, arson, bribery, facilitating, trafficking of Cassie and Jane, forced labor, travel for commercial intimacy, cover-up. You only need to find that someone would commit 2 acts in any of these categories. It could be 2 acts of substance distribution, 1 kidnapping, just 2. You have far more than 2. Let's start with substances, an essential ingredient of freak-offs. The most involved were D-Rock, KK, and Fahim, but others helped keep the substance supply high. We're not talking about M, but what Brendan Paul called hard substances. There are stipulations of the substances found in the searches. CMOKA substance, GMMT, a combination dyed pink. It's 1305 and 1306. The quantities are not relevant. It's not an element of this crime. Distribution does not require a sale. You know the names of the substance dealers by now: Guido, One Stop, Baby Girl. Jane told you that on 2 occasions she was told to bring substances when she flew to meet him. She coordinated with KK, is corroborated by text messages. KK told Jane to swing by Mapleton to pick up the Guido package. He was called during hotel nights, so we know what the Guido package was. More E. The security team knew what it was. Guido texted Fahim, Puff has a $450 balance with me. Brendan Paul asked for $780 for personal Gucci items. That is hard substances. Substances were distributed. It doesn't matter he wasn't buying kilos or selling them. Personal use is just a distraction they bought and distributed to people around him. Now we move on to Cassie with the substance distribution. Cassie used substances at every freak-off supplied by the defendant. He introduced Jane to substances, gave them to her at all but 1 hotel night. He gave substances to Carrie Morgan. Remember, Carrie was Cassie's best friend. And Brianna Bongolan. He made Brendan Paul try tea to see if it was good. D-Rock would text One Stop, need to see someone for bro. That is the defendant. Guido asked for him to cover the defendant's substance debt. KK knew he was distributing substances to the women for the Wild King nights. Jane told KK she was having a bad come down. KK gave pro tips how to deal with it. Plain and simple, this is substance distribution. How about kidnappings? They committed them under both California and NY law. Consider Cassie. Bond made her stay put. The defendant called Cassie a slut. He stomped in her face. She was disfigured. Roger Bonds caught her and brought her back. The defendant made her go to the London hotel on Sunset so no one saw her. She wanted to go home to her mum, but no. It's clear Cassie did not consent to staying in the London hotel. David James testified. The defendant demanded to see his search history if he had posted that the defendant assaulted Cassie in the club. Then there's Capricorn Clark. They made her take a lie detector test for days in an empty office building in Manhattan. This was in 2004. She was holding expensive jewelry that went missing. Uncle Paulie took her to the future HQ of Bad Boy. She was tested for 5 nights. The man administering the test told her if she failed, she'd end up in the East River. In Central Park, the defendant told her if anything happened, he'd have to unalive her. David James remembers this. He was tested too to get the rat out of the team. Make sure you come back because in the next video, I'll be sharing more about Capricorn Clark's testimony, Kid Cudi, and also the bribery charge. Let me know what you think in the comments below.